I didn't even know they were together. Not officially. Not in a way that would warn me. The invitation was cream-colored, with gold lettering. You're invited to celebrate Madison and Tyler's baby shower. Date, time, location, RSVP. And right at the bottom, in soft cursive, hosted by the future father, with love. Tyler. My Tyler. The man I kissed 3 nights ago. The one who texted, "I miss you, babe," just yesterday. The same Tyler who told me he wasn't ready to settle down. And suddenly, my knees went weak. Not because of the baby, not because he moved on, but because he moved forward while still holding my hand behind his back. I reread the card 4 times, checked the address, Googled the girl, Madison Graham. We'd met once at a party months ago. She smiled at me like she didn't know who I was. Now I think maybe she always did. I sat on my bedroom floor in silence, invitation still open in my hand. My heart didn't just break, it unraveled, thread by thread, memory by memory. Every good morning text, every "I'm just tired" excuse. Every time he said he wasn't ready for a relationship, when in fact he already had one. That was the moment I realized I wasn't his girlfriend. I was just the intermission between his lives. Before him, I was soft in a different way. I laughed without checking who was watching. I danced in the mirror in mismatched socks. I believed the right person would love me without having to lose me first. I was studying graphic design, working part-time at a bookstore. My mornings smelled like coffee and lavender lotion. My phone background was a quote, "The right person will never make you doubt how much you matter." I had goals. I wanted to travel. I had a playlist called Someday Paris. I dreamed of sipping espresso under the Eiffel Tower in a red coat. Before him, I belonged to myself. We met at my friend Claire's birthday dinner. He showed up late, loud laugh, backwards hat, that easy kind of charm that makes everyone feel seen. Except he didn't just look at me. He looked into me. The next day, he found me on Instagram, DM'd me. That smile stuck with me. I smiled reading it. I should have known then. Some men don't chase you because they see your light. They chase you to see if they can dim it. But I didn't know that yet. Back then, his text made my heart race. He'd say, "Good morning, sunshine," or "Can I see you tonight?" And when he kissed me in his car the first time, the radio was playing a throwback Usher song, and I remember thinking, this is what they mean when they say butterflies. He started showing up everywhere. Outside work with coffee, waiting after my night class with takeout, telling me how safe he felt with me, how he wasn't used to someone so real, how I made him want to be better. He gave me his hoodie, the gray one with the little tear at the collar. I wore it to sleep, every night. He'd rest his forehead on mine and say, "Promise me you'll never leave." And I did. I wasn't just falling for him, I was building a life around him, before he ever asked me to. My friends noticed the shift. Claire said, "You're glowing." My mom said I smiled more. Even my coworkers teased me about the mystery guy. But it wasn't just joy. It was hope. Hope that I'd finally found someone who saw me, all of me, and stayed. I started skipping nights out to stay in with him, stopped applying to internships in other cities, deleted dating apps, even though he never asked me to. I stopped asking questions when his answers came late, stopped setting boundaries, because I don't want to scare him off. Love made me soft, and then that softness made me silent. I gave him my time, my peace, my body, my loyalty, without ever asking what he was giving back. If I'm honest, I didn't want to know. Because deep down, I think I knew the truth. But the girl I was back then, she needed to believe in something. And I chose him, even when he started choosing less of me. It began small. A missed call, a canceled plan, a text that took hours to come back and felt colder when it did. He'd say, "Sorry, work's been insane," or "You're overthinking again." So I told myself I was. The first time I saw him laughing with another girl at the gym, hand on her waist, he said, "Babe, don't be weird. She's like my sister." And I nodded, like that made sense. Like sisters look at you like that. He flirted, constantly, but called it playful energy. And I laughed with him because I wanted to be the cool girl, not the jealous one. He forgot my birthday once, said he was slammed at work. He Venmo'd me $50 with a heart emoji. I told everyone I was fine, but I cried that night, quietly, into his hoodie. He stopped calling me baby, then stopped calling altogether. He replied to stories, but stopped watching mine, stopped asking how I was doing, but still found ways to remind me I was special. Like sending a heart emoji on a Tuesday morning or liking a photo from months ago. It kept me tethered, not close, just not gone. And any time I brought it up, he'd say, "Why do you always need reassurance? I'm just in a weird place right now. Can't you just trust me?" And I did, because love, real love, I thought, meant patience. I didn't want to lose him over something small, so I swallowed it all. The doubt, the silence, the ache. My friends stopped asking how we were doing, because I stopped telling them. Every red flag I folded into a rose, told myself I was lucky, told myself love was messy, and I just had to wait. I thought if I loved him gently enough, he'd stop hurting me. If I stayed long enough, he'd come back home. But I was the only one still fighting, and I didn't even realize that I was fighting alone. Until the invitation came. It was a Tuesday afternoon. I remember, because I'd just gotten home from work, and the air smelled like dust and early summer rain. I checked the mail half-heartedly. Bills, ads, and then that cream-colored envelope with the gold script. I thought it was a wedding, or maybe a graduation. I smiled, wondering which friend had something to celebrate. I sat on the couch, pulled off my shoes, and opened it slowly, like softness could prepare me. And there it was, the thing that ended everything. You're invited to Madison and Tyler's baby shower. At first, my brain refused to compute it. Tyler? My Tyler? I reread it, again and again. The baby shower, the name, the future father. And then, beneath the host line, "You're our biggest miracle." M&T. My chest went hollow, because just 2 days ago, Tyler was lying in my bed. He kissed my shoulder and told me he loved how calm he felt around me. He asked what kind of pasta I liked best, said he wanted to make it for me next time. And now, he was throwing a baby shower? I froze. Not angry. Not crying. Just cold. I looked up Madison on Instagram. Her profile was public. A reel pinned to the top. Her and Tyler painting the baby's room. Him kissing her belly. Caption, "Our biggest blessing coming this September." September. I counted backwards. They were already expecting. Well, I was still expecting him. I couldn't breathe. I remember just sitting there, my hand still holding the card, like maybe if I held it gently enough, it wouldn't hurt so loud. That night, I didn't sleep. I didn't eat. I just scrolled. Every photo, every comment, every tag she posted. He liked it. Every place they went, he brought me to, weeks later. He was building a whole life while still whispering, "Miss you," into my phone. I sent him a message. Just one. No paragraph. No, how could you? Just, I got the invitation. He didn't reply until the next morning. It's not what it looks like. That was it. So I called, and he answered, sounding annoyed. Like I was the problem. Why are you making this a thing? I didn't want to hurt you. I just didn't know how to say it. Say what? That I was the side story? That our love was just filler between his real life? I asked him, how long? He was quiet. So I asked again, how long, Tyler? He exhaled. We were on and off. It just happened. She got pregnant. I had to step up. Step up. Like he hadn't just laid me down and made me believe I was the one. Like I wasn't a life he was actively building. Until he found a more convenient version. I didn't scream. Didn't beg. But I asked one last time, was any of it real? And he said with the calm of someone who never meant to stay, you were just someone I used to talk to. That line? It didn't cut me. It carved a silence into me, so wide, I forgot how to speak. I hung up, not because I was done, but because I was erased. He didn't just cheat. He erased our history with a single sentence. Everything. The nights he held me, the promises, the hoodie, the playlist, the pasta. Swept into a trash bin with the words, used to talk to. It wasn't just the betrayal. It was the ease. The way he discarded me like I was never real. That was the day it fell apart. Not with a fight. Not with tears. But with a baby shower invitation. A 6-word reply. And the sound of a future I imagined, crumbling like paper in my hands.
I didn't scream, didn't break things, didn't text my friends or post cryptic quotes. I just disappeared. It started small. I stopped replying to group chats, left messages on read, muted every story that reminded me love still existed somewhere. I kept his hoodie in the laundry basket. Not clean, not dirty, like I couldn't decide if I was ready to let it go. I slept with my phone under my pillow, not because I expected him to text, but because a part of me still hoped he would, even just to say sorry, even just to lie it again, something I could hold on to a little longer. I stopped eating regular meals, drink coffee just to feel full, woke up tired, went to bed numb. People say heartbreak hurts, but what they don't say is how quiet it is. Grief doesn't always wail. Sometimes it sits on your chest like an old memory and whispers, "You weren't enough." I replayed our messages every night, scrolled back to his voice notes, his late-night "you up" texts, the jokes only we got, and every time I reached the part where he said, "You're my peace," I broke again. Because how can someone call you peace while planning a family with someone else? I watched their baby shower reel on mute, over and over. Madison laughing in a flower crown, Tyler rubbing her belly like it held his whole heart. A slow-motion kiss with confetti behind them. I watched it like a movie I auditioned for, but never got the part. Except I didn't just want the role, I lived it until someone else replaced me. I archived every photo of us, then unarchived them, then deleted them, then checked recently deleted just to see if they were really gone. I was unraveling in private, smiling at work, nodding in conversations. But behind every "I'm good" was a voice screaming, "Why wasn't I worth choosing?" My friends noticed. Claire sent me a text. "I'm here if you want to talk. No pressure." I stared at it for hours, then turned my phone face down. because I didn't have the words. How do you explain mourning a man who's still alive, still smiling, still posting, just not yours anymore? How do you grieve someone who never died, but made you feel like you did? There was a day, maybe 2 weeks after the invitation, when I stayed in bed until it got dark. Didn't brush my teeth, didn't check my emails, didn't even cry. Just lay there feeling the absence of someone who never truly showed up. I wasn't sad anymore. I was hollow, like my laughter had packed a suitcase and left with him. It wasn't just that he left, it's that he left her inside me, the girl who loved without fear, and now I can't find her anymore. Some nights I imagined calling him, not to yell, not to fix it, just to ask, did you ever mean it? Was I ever real to you? But I never did, because deep down, I knew the silence would answer louder than he ever could.
And then came the final cut. It wasn't a scream. It wasn't a breakdown. It was a notification. One night, maybe 3 weeks after the invitation, I got a message. From him. My heart stuttered. I sat up in bed. I hadn't blocked him. I wasn't ready to cut the cord. Part of me still clung to the fantasy that he'd reach out. Maybe to apologize, maybe to explain, maybe to say he missed me, even if it was too late. I opened it, and it wasn't meant for me. It was a photo of Madison in a white lace robe, her belly round, hands resting in a heart over her stomach. His caption read, "I can't wait to meet you, baby girl. You've already made me a better man." He sent it to me by accident. Meant to send it to her or post it. I don't know, but it landed in my inbox. No apology, no follow-up, just a glimpse into the life he was proud of, the one he built on the ashes of what I thought we had. And that was it. No more tears, no more what-ifs. Something in me snapped, but not in anger, not in rage, in clarity. That was the day I stopped crying and started grieving. Not just him, not just the relationship, but the version of me that loved him so deeply that she forgot to love herself. I deleted our thread, not in a dramatic purge, just a quiet goodbye. I didn't block him. I didn't unfollow. I just stopped looking. That was the real break. Not when he left. Not cut wasn't loud. It was still. And in that stillness, I finally heard me again. At first, it was just a whisper, a thought as I folded laundry. You don't have to carry this anymore. A breath during a morning walk. You survived. It didn't come all at once. There was no montage moment, no sunrise epiphany, just a quiet choice, every day, to keep breathing without him. I started writing again, not about love, about grief, about honesty, about the lies I told myself to feel held. I bought a new journal. The cover said, "Let it hurt, then let it go." I stopped sleeping with my phone in my bed, turned off notifications, deleted the photos I used to scroll through on sleepless nights. One morning, I woke up and realized I hadn't thought of him first. I made coffee, opened the window, let sunlight touch my face without guilt. I called Claire. We went to lunch. I cried over dessert, and she didn't rush me. Healing didn't make me loud. It made me honest. I stopped lying about being okay. Stopped saying maybe he'll grow when he already had, just not with me. I signed up for therapy. My voice trembled during the first session, but the therapist didn't flinch. She nodded and said,
That was real, and it hurt. And it did. But I was learning that I didn't need to erase the pain to move forward. I just had to carry it differently. I bought new bedsheets, not because the old ones were his, but because the new ones were mine. I started dancing again, in the mirror, in the kitchen, sometimes with tears in my eyes, but the music was mine again. I changed his name in my phone to nothing, then deleted the contact, then forgot the number. I stopped looking at Madison's page, stopped measuring myself against her, because that was his story, and I had one too. He didn't break me. He just introduced me to the girl I forgot I was, the one who set boundaries, the one who didn't mistake silence for peace, the one who knew that love, real love, doesn't hide. I stopped needing closure, stopped needing him to understand what he did, because I finally understood what I deserved. Not perfection, but truth, but tenderness, but someone who didn't flinch when I asked, "Are you sure?" I forgave him, not because he earned it, not because I forgot, but because I couldn't carry him into my future anymore. Forgiveness wasn't freedom for him, it was freedom for me. I didn't get revenge, didn't leave dramatic comments, didn't tell Madison the truth. I just moved on. Quietly, softly, fully. The girl who came back didn't want him back. She wanted herself. And this time, she stayed.
Not for him, not for the version of me I thought he needed, but for the woman who deserved to never be abandoned by her own heart again. Because here's what I know now, not from books, not from quotes, but from the raw place you reach when everything you built comes down around you. Never shrink just to be held. If he only loved the version of you that's quiet, agreeable, low maintenance, that's not love. That's convenience. If he makes you doubt your worth, he already knows you don't. Because real love doesn't make you feel small. It makes you feel safe. It's not supposed to hurt and confuse you more than it heals. Closure doesn't come from him. It comes the moment you stop waiting for an apology from someone who was never sorry in the first place. You don't need his permission to heal. You don't need his honesty to forgive. You don't need his regret to move on. You just need you. Love shouldn't make you beg. Not for attention, not for clarity, not for loyalty. And most of all, you are not unlovable. He was just incapable. He didn't know what to do with a heart that showed up whole. He didn't know how to receive love without destroying it. But that's his story. And losing him, that's where mine truly began. He wasn't my forever. He was my awakening. And if you're listening to this with your heart cracked wide open, your hands shaking because you know this pain in your bones, this is for you. I see you. The girl who still sleeps in his hoodie. The girl who whispers his name in her dreams, then wakes up reaching for a ghost. The girl who smiles in public, but breaks in the bathroom. The girl who gave too much and got too little. You're not crazy. You're not too much. You're not dramatic or weak or naive. You're real. You're soft in a world that rewards numbness. You're honest in a world that manipulates truth. And you loved in a way that most people aren't brave enough to. Please hear me when I say this. You will laugh again. You will trust again. You will love again. Better. And next time, you won't have to wonder if he's lying. You'll feel it in your bones when he's real, because you'll be real with yourself first. You don't have to harden. You don't have to hate.
but you do have to heal. Take your time, hold your heart gently, and remember, you're not alone. If this story feels like yours, type "still soft, still strong" in the comments. Let's remind each other, we were never too much. They were just never enough.